that you can still hear me loud and clear. Please, if you can hear me loud and clear, kindly confirm by typing 1 in the chat room. If you can still hear me loud and clear, please kindly confirm by typing 1 in the chat room. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel. Okay, so we can proceed. So we've done a review of what organizational design is by looking at the software we just looked at. However, let's have a theoretical knowledge of what we need to know so that it can help us to function well in the HR environment. Now, why I say theoretical is because we are providing information. However, this information, they are practical enough. By running through the software, we've shown that they are practical enough. And even if you are not using the software, we'll also work at the information that is needed for you to be able to apply the things needed here. Now, let's move on very fast. This class is going to be a long class. It's going to be a long class, but we'll try as much as we can to simplify it. The learning objectives here will cover the participant being able to explain organizational structures, enumerate the concept of departmentalization, design effective organizational processes, review delegation and functional authority, and then foster innovation and adaptability. Now, let's move very fast. By introduction, organizational design is a systematic process of aligning an organizational structure with its mission, goals, and objectives. It involves configuring the roles, responsibilities, and relationships within an organization to enhance efficiency and effectiveness. Okay, so that's what we want to achieve with organizational design. Now, what are the key components? What are the member components when designing an organization? Every organizational design needs to have a structure, need to have composition of processes, people, technology, culture, and reward incentives. Structure, which involves determining the hierarchy of the organization, including the arrangement of departments, divisions, and teams. Common structures that we'll be discussing here will include the functional, the divisional, the matrix, and the flat structures. Then you have the processes defining and streamlining workflows, communication channels, and decision-making processes to ensure smooth operations and collaboration among the employees. People here include identifying the skills, competencies, and roles required for the organization to achieve its objective. This will include hiring, training, and managing employees. The technology here will include integrating the appropriate tools and technologies to support organizational activities and improve on productivity. The culture here will be on establishing the values, the beliefs, the behaviors that shape the organizational environment and influence how employees interact and work together. The reward and incentive will mean designing compensation, benefits, and recognition programs to motivate employees and align their efforts with organizational goals. Now, what are the steps in organizational design? You have assessment, you have alignment, you have design options, implementation, and evaluation. By assessment, you are evaluating the current state of the organization, including its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay, so when you are designing an organization, remember this, please, let's put this in view. We want to make room for effectiveness and efficiency. We want to make for effectiveness and efficiency. And by making for effectiveness and efficiency, it will rub off on productivity, profitability, and every other thing, resource optimizations, and all of that. So when you are designing, when you're doing an organizational design, one of the key aspects is process. So you want to assess from what we are currently doing to what we want to do. And you can use a SWOT analysis to achieve that assessment, okay? Then the next one is your alignment, your strategy alignment. Ensure that the organizational design support the strategic goals and objectives of the organization. Yeah, make sure that the design, the way you will design the organization It will be designed in such a way that it will achieve the objectives of the organization. Remember, we spoke about employee experience designer. So if you're an employee experience designer, it will assist in ensuring that your design, your organizational design now as a whole, creates the most favorable environment to make sure the organizational goals are achieved. But let us always remember that whatsoever we are doing, there must be an alignment between the HR strategies and business goals and objectives. Okay, because that's the whole essence of what we're doing. There must be a synergy among the two. Then the design options. How do we go about this design? Okay, explore different design options and models that could potentially improve organizational performance. Now, this HR information system we just looked at, you can also have your organization to get a software developer that will develop the one that would just be accustomed to your organization only. So you don't need to pay monthly subscriptions or annual subscriptions for you to use such services. You just get it once and for all. Yes, it might cost you more, but you know that is a one-off cost. Okay, so you can do all the design options in that regard. They have the implementation, develop a plan to implement the chosen design, including timelines, resources, and change management strategies. Then you have the evaluation, continuously monitor and adjust the effectiveness of the organizational design, making adjustments as necessary. Now, as simple as these things I'm saying are, if you go back to that software, you find out that is a whole lot of things that this organizational design will entail. It's not just as easy as I'm saying it with my mouth. Okay, some organizations take years for them to come up with a design. And even when they are done with their design keeps going through continuous improvement. So what the ease with which I'm saying it does not necessarily mean that that's the ease with which it is done. Okay, that's why I also say that this is more of theoretical. So benefits of effective organizational design: there is improved efficiency, there is enhanced communication, there is greater flexibility, there is increased employee satisfaction, and there is better alignment with goals, better alignment of every aspect of strategy to the goals. Now, what are the challenges in organizational design? You have resistance to change. This is this is a major issue when it comes to organizational design. Organizational design introduces change, right? So just like Mrs. Favors just rightly said now, in her organization, she's not too sure that all of the information required in this system optimization or introduction of HR information system, whether employees will be willing to give you all of this information. She's not too sure. Why is she not too sure? All of this could be product of resistance to change. What do you want to do with my data and all of that? And then, like I said earlier, even with the fact that we have digitalized passport renewal, but whether you like it or not, there is a point you have to go there to do biometrics. Okay, the same thing with your NIMC and every other thing. Why are we not having absolute automation? Because there are certain resistance somewhere. Okay, they have complexity of the organization, the complexity of the structures can also become a challenge. Okay, then you have resource constraints. Sometimes this organizational design might not be done by internal HR. It could be procuring a consultant, a HR consultant to do that. So before you do that, you now want to find out if you have all the resources to meet up. They have sustainability. Okay, HR organizational design should be done in such a way that they should serve not just for now, but also serve for the purpose of the future. Now, basic concepts in organization. You have work specialization, departmentalization, chain of command. These are the basic concepts you hear in organizational design. Span of control, centralization versus decentralization, formalization versus standardization, and all of that. Now, on the work specialization, this refers to the division of tasks into smaller, more manageable units. Specialization allows workers to develop expertise in specific areas and increases efficiency. In some organizations, they will tell you this is a professional department. So they have professional department, administrative department, and different other departments. So some departments are highly specialized, and that's what they want to do with admin department. So everybody in the admin department will be highly specialized. Then they have departmentalization, that's breaking down your organization into departments, grouping the jobs into departments, okay? So this is the process of grouping jobs into departments based on common functions, products, customers, or geography. There are various structures for departmentalization, including functional, product, customer, and geographic structures. They have the chain of command. Who are we reporting to? Okay. This refers to clear reporting lines that establish who reports to whom within the organization. It clarifies who has authority to make decisions and ensures that everyone knows who to go to for questions and problems. They have the span of control, the scope with which your authority can work. This refers to the number of employees under a manager. The number of employees a manager can effectively supervise. A manager with a large span of control may have difficulty providing adequate support and guidance to their employees. So span of control, you have a director, deputy director, assistant director, supervisors, CEOs, managers, then officers, as the case may be, okay? They have formalization. This refers to the degree to which an organization relies on rules, procedures, and policies to guide employee behavior, okay? A highly formalized organization will have a lot of written documentation that dictates how things are done. Principles of organizational design. You have alignment with strategy, specialization and division of labor, coordination and integration. Coordination internally, integration both internal and external. Authority and responsibility available to employees at different levels. Span of control, centralization and decentralization. Centralization if power is centralized to the top management only or to a particular department, or decentralized if authority and power is allocated across the organization. Flexibility and adaptability. Your organizational structures should be flexible and adaptable, especially in agile environment like we have now. Formalization and standardization. Formalization, talking about rules, regulations, and all of that. Standardization, talking about establishing policies, having standards, policies that must be followed through. There you have communication channels. Communication channels establish how each department will interact with each other across the structure, how people from one department will communicate with others in another department, how people from the same department can communicate to each other. So the communication channels will be established. Then culture and values. Every organization has cultures and values, whether it is written or is unwritten. Okay, whether it is written or unwritten. Every organization has a culture. Every organization has values, whether it is written or it is unwritten. So permit me, I'm just going to run through this. So when you get access to your material, you can review them. By applying these principles of organizational design, it helps to create a structure that supports the strategic objectives, enhances operational efficiency, and promotes a positive work environment. By carefully considering these principles, organization can build resilient and adaptive structures capable of thriving in dynamic business environment. Now, let's quickly look at organizational structure. The organizational structure defines how tasks are divided, coordinated, and supervised within an organization. It establishes the hierarchy, communication channels, and roles that shape how the organization operates and achieve its goals. Why is it important to have organizational structure? For the purpose of clarity and efficiency, for the purpose of improved decision-making, for the purpose of empowerment and accountability, and for the purpose of adaptability. These are key reasons why we need organizational structure. Now, let's quickly look at the types of structures. Then we'll look at their characteristics, advantages, and disadvantages. Now, by the end of this section, I want you to take a look at any company of your choice and then find out what structure do you think will best suit them. So have that in mind. We will discuss it after we are done with the types of structure. Just pick any company in your mind and just be ruminating over it. It could be your own organization. By the time we are done, you will tell me which of the structures do you think is the best for that particular organization you've chosen. So we have the functional structure, divisional, matrix, hierarchical, network, and there are several others, but we'll just stop there. Now, for the functional structure, the key word there is functional. Functional. So you're breaking down the organization according to the functions within the organization. The functional structure is breaking down the organization based on the key functions in that organization. Okay, so basically you see the major functions as marketing and sales, finance, production, HR, and things like that. Okay, each department is managed by a functional manager who reports to a top manager. So you see finance and accounts manager, HR manager, production manager, marketing and sales manager, and several others in that regard. Specialization and efficiency in specific functional areas. This functional structure drives specialization and efficiency in specific functional areas. The challenge of this particular kind of structure is that the specialization in most cases could be so high that if the person in those structures are not flexible enough, they might think all their life is all about is that particular thing they are doing. And they may end up not being too relevant in other places, other verses of life, except for that particular thing they have been doing. Okay? So that's that. So you see example there. You see a chief executive officer, then you see the functions. Okay, you see sales and marketing, product and development, human resources, finance, facilities, procurement, and all of that. Okay, now let's quickly look at the advantages. Under the advantages, specialization is high. Specialization and expertise, they are high. Clear reporting structure, stability and predictability, simplified training process, stronger coordination, clear career paths within functional areas. Now, go back to what the head of service is doing, forcing every admin staff to professionalize. Now, even if you didn't want to professionalize, by the time you see 1, 2, 3 persons in your department professionalizing, you will be the one to run out. Because now they want to make the admin a functional area, okay, a professional area, okay. Disadvantages can create silos and hinder communication between departments. So you can create a department is better than that department. We are the bigger people. We are the most creative people. Those other departments, they don't know what they came to do. Okay, so you can create those bias. There will be limited view of overall organizational goals. So instead of people to look at the organizational goals, they will rather look at their departmental goals. This is what we are meant to do. We cannot do more than this. And we see those crises often. This department say, this is, my director said, this is what we do. We cannot do more than this. So it becomes a challenge. They have slow decision making also. The resistance to change could also bring resistance to change. Most of them, when you want, I said it earlier. There is a training we are to do for one medical center, one federal, university teaching hospital, one university teaching hospital. Yeah. A training on health, safety, and environment. This training, they've been on this training negotiation since 2021 or so. Every year they wake you up and call you, oh, we didn't do this thing last year, so thing happened. This year we'll do it. So we are trusting God that this year. But I believe the way they are pushing it this time, I trust they will do it. But one of the reasons why they are focusing on health, safety, and environment is because the answer is very simple. They told me we need a certificate that we can use outside Nigeria. It's not even about the implication to their job. It's what they will do with the certificate outside Nigeria. You know, all these medical people, their problem now is to leave Nigeria. Okay, let me not say all, but most of them. So they want a certificate that when they live with it, it will serve them. But they want to get it at a very cheap rate. But they still want it to become something valuable there. Okay, they said some of our staff have done your program, and they said this certificate is they can use it there. So we also want, okay, so what is driving them is specialization. Specialization. If you go there and tell them leadership training, they say, no, we don't need it. Go there and tell them maybe training on emotional intelligence, we don't need it. Give them any other training that does not really enhance their specialization. They will tell you, no, it's not part of what we do. And that is part of this resistance we're talking about. You have resource allocation issues. Resource allocation issues. Divisional structure, the second structure, divisional structure. The characteristics, organization is divided into semi-autonomous units or divisions based on product, services, or geographical areas. Each division operates like a separate business with its own resource and objectives. The advantage here is that it focuses on specific products, services, or markets, and there's greater flexibility and responsiveness to market changes. Unlike the functional area that if anything happens, somebody in personnel will say, it doesn't concern me now. I say there are people in marketing and sales. Okay, if anything happens in production, marketing and sales say it does not concern us now. There is somebody in the production department. But in the divisional, there is much more synergy. There is greater flexibility. Disadvantage here is duplication of resources and efforts across divisions. So you could have a division, maybe this division is responsible for Pampers, assuming, or in IPM now, let's say this division is responsible for, they are the HRM faculty. Okay, so inside the HRM faculty, you have those who are responsible for admin in the HR faculty, in the or customer service rather, in the HR faculty. You have those who are doing the marketing and sales. You have those who are doing the certificate processing, examination and certificate processing. You go to project management faculty, they are doing replication. You go to management consulting, the same thing. You go to those on membership, the same thing. So you just keep having replication, and then that gets to lead to multiple costs. Okay. However, most often this is used in organizations that are bigger, not small organizations. So cost might not be their problem. Take, for instance, Dangote group of company. So you have division A, Dangote Sugar. They can comfortably take care of all their costs and every other resource they need. Division B, Dangote Cement, comfortable. Division C, Dangote Refinery. So you see how that works. So you must consider the size of the organization before you start, and the resources available before you start assigning structure to it, so that we don't put a bigger structure on a small organization, then you weigh it down, or we put a small organization in a bigger structure, then it swallows it up. Okay, so we need to be careful about that. Then disadvantages, well, potential for competition and lack of coordination between divisions. Everybody is a director in his own division. Everybody is an MDCO, executive director in his own division. So you don't have right to tell me what to do. I am on my own. You are your own. So what's your problem? So there is that possibility of competition and conflict. You have the matrix structure. Just as the name is, matrix. The characteristics here combines functional and divisional structures with employees reporting to both a functional manager and a project or product manager. The focus on both functional expertise and project-specific goals. They promote collaboration across different functional areas. So you have the matrix. Most of the projects You have the project manager on another side. Advantages is efficient use of resources and expertise, enhanced communication and collaboration across the organization. Then on the disadvantages, you have complexity in reporting relationship, potential for conflicts between functional and project managers. So you see a typical example here. Okay, so you have project A. Under project A, you have a project manager. You have people under him. You have a marketing manager, product manager, customer service manager. So the people working in project A, you get them from the project department, marketing department, product department, and customer service department. 1, 2, 3, 4. They will work on project A. 1, 2, they work on project B, but they are drawn from different departments. Those from project department, those from marketing, those from product. I trust you understand that. Okay, so these are the projects they are doing. But to do this project, it has to be an inclusion of people from different departments, and most often from the functional department and the project department. Hierarchical structure, hierarchy. Characteristics: traditional organizational structure with multiple levels of management, clear chain of command from top to bottom. Each employee has one direct supervisor. Advantages: clear authority and responsibility, well-defined roles and career paths. And then we have disadvantages: can be slow to adapt to changes, potential for bureaucracy, and limited communication across levels. So you can see what's happening there. You have the board of directors, the CEO, advisory board, staff director, voluntary. So you just keep on like that. They also have what we call the hybrid structure. The hybrid combines elements of various structures to leverage their strength and minimize their weaknesses. This type of structure is often tailored to the specific needs and goals of the organization. Advantages here: we have adaptability. They can easily be adapted to the current situation of any organization. That's if you are adopting them, that's adopting the hybrid. So they can be adaptable to different situations within the organization. Then you have balance too. It provides balance. And then innovation. It encourages innovation through diverse organizational arrangement. The disadvantages there is the complexity involved, and then the challenge of coordination. So there you see your CEO, the president, this, president, that, president, this. And then you have the vice president at functional divisional level. You have vice president on those key aspects, that's on functional areas. Okay, then from marketing, you have all of these also. Okay. Now, choosing the right structure. Each organizational structure has its own set of characteristics, advantages, and disadvantages. The choice of structure depends on the organizational size, goals, industry, environment, and strategic priorities. Understanding these different types of structures helps in designing an organization that aligns with its objective, facilitates communication and collaboration and operational needs. Okay, so we've looked at the different kinds of structures. So now, I said, imagine an organization and then share with us what kind of structure do you think they operate. So let's start with your own organization. From what we've learned now, please remember, there are primarily about three kinds of structures. You have the functional, divisional, and the matrix. Those are the major ones we have. But we have several others based on complexity. So we tell you process-based structures, team-based structures, flat structures, vertical structure, horizontal structures. All of them, they still make up for half of. Okay, so now let's go back to our question. Starting from the organization, by the review we've done, what do you think your structure, your organization is operating? Please feel free to unmute. What kind of structure do you think your organization is operating?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Okay. Looking at the structures review, um, I see that because I've actually, before I started my own company, I've actually been part of, few working board members in some companies in the past. So in
Okay.
one of the companies that is into communication, telecommunication, gadget distribution, and supplies. I see that to be divisional.
Okay.
And yes, and I also see another company that I work with that is into project development to
Okay.
be matrix.
Okay.
And currently, the one I'm handling now currently, I see that to be taking the structure of I see that to be taking the functional structure.
Okay. That means it's a smaller project. It's not that big.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so
So
much, Mr.
from
Emmanuel.
your,
You have shared like three different places. You've observed three different kinds of structure.
that's right. Based on your explanation, though.
Yeah. Okay. And if we're actually going to further this discussion now, you will agree with me that if you are taking maybe functional structure to the one you say is a project kind of environment, they might suffer, they might have challenge. Or
That's
maybe
right.
you take the one of matrix and then you want to come and bring it to the one that you consider simpler project or simpler organization.
Yeah,
You just introduce bureaucracy by default.
that's right. When you were explaining when you were talking about the matrix structure, you
Yeah,
said it combines both the functional and divisional.
yeah, that's right.
And I see that as a structure for companies that is, really into projects,
Mm,
taking
mm,
one project at a time,
that's
or
right.
sometimes they can handle two, three, four projects at the same time.
You're correct.
And,
You're correct.
every time there is a new project, there's a need to set up, like a new structure for such project to be able to be properly implemented. And
Mm,
I have worked with this kind of structure many times.
okay. Okay. Now, another thing we also might observe in this kind of matrix structure is that you will have your resourcing pattern will not be permanent. Your recruitment pattern, like contract pattern, job contract pattern, in most
That's
cases
right.
will not be permanent. So you have reserve where you can easily call people and say, okay, this job came up. Can you come and take a temporary assignment? Maybe
That's
two,
right.
3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you're done. When we are done with that project, we wait for another project. So we could
Exactly.
have multiple projects, different people doing it. But what now creates the uniqueness there is that we have managers over. So we have permanency of managers, but not necessarily permanency of staff.
That's right. That's
Okay,
right.
that's I love you've given us three different experiences. As you're talking now, you are qualified for a CEO. so,
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
you know exactly what you will now put in your own organization. Okay. So Mrs. Favor, is she still in the class? Okay, Mrs. Favor,
Yes,
what's your
please.
place in your organization?
I'm looking at the hybrid, but
Okay.
now the hybrid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hybrid, but now is yeah, the hybrid structure, because in my organization we have over 20 something directors.
Mm,
You understand? We have the main departments, about 18 directorates that report to the CEO, and we have zonal directors, you understand, by the side. So the whole, it's a little bit complex because of the size of the organization. So we operate both functional and of course divisional. We also have down, we are going down, you have some heads reporting to supervisor, reporting to this and all that. So, but the truth that the work we do, of course, they're all well spelled out, but there is also the, we don't work in silos. There is a connectivity, there's a networking. Because for us as an agency, our primary vision is to safeguard the heads of the nation. So every directorate, every arm of the agency is geared towards safeguarding, but you are doing different things, but all working together. So you cannot be in silos, but you have clear-cut, line of
responsibilities.
Yes. So they're all clear-cut, but then we still work together. You know, so I don't know how to explain that. I don't know if it is the hybrid now that I will say, or from the explanation now, if you think you can tell me what it is.
I think your explanation on hybrid is actually okay, because you've mentioned the directors as the first level. You've mentioned the heads, and then you also mentioned that you have geographical locations. You're not just in one place, you have different, so
all
it's
over
a
the
mix.
country.
Yeah. So it's a mixed, the hybrid structure is also called a mixed structure. It's also called a mixed structure. So congratulations on identifying. But what if we now ask you to sit down and draw the structure of your organization? Can you draw it?
Yes, we have a structure already. We have our organogram already.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yes, we have an organogram. And anytime there is a change, anytime there's an addition of maybe a creation of an office, we try to update. So we have a working organogram that we work with.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Okay, so Mrs. Joyce, in your own organization, which one works for you? Mrs. Joyce?
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
Yeah. So which one works in your own organization?
Okay, sir. You had earlier said we should observe other companies, even if it's not.
Yeah, even if it's not your own. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm going to make reference to the Guinness company brand because I worked with them as of last year.
Okay.
And for their structure, they work. I would say they mainly work with the divisional structure because we had regions, and they mostly they used to organize. They used to operate separately. Region 1 and Region 2 all had their warehouses, and the stock keeping. I was the DMS clerk taking stock, and for every plant, they all still had other DMS clerks too. So I believe that they go with the divisional structure. Each of the regions also had their HRs, and the manager in every region reports back to the main management at the headquarters.
Senatorial zones.
And they all reported back to the manager in the headquarters. So I believe they work with the divisional structure.
Okay, that's good. So everybody has been able to identify what works in their own organization, and that is good. So you're a good consultant. Kudos. Now, with all of what we've done, the simple of what we've done here, it simply means that if you see a structure, if you see an organization struggling because of structure, you can easily identify it. That's the basis of what we've done now. If you see an organization that this organization, it is struggling, the structure is bigger than this now, why are you doing that organization? You can easily identify. The structure is smaller now, that's why they are fighting every day. Spread them out, their fight will stop. This is simple part of organizational diagnosis. Okay, so you are a HR with knowledge of structure, and then you can diagnose what is happening to organization based on the choice of the structure. And that's why we wrote here that each organizational structure has its own set of characteristics, advantages, and the choice of structure depends on the organization size, goals, industry, environment, and strategic priorities. Mrs. Favor said, irrespective of the fact that we have our divisional offices, but everybody is focused on the vision. So irrespective of whether you are the head of Enugu State, you are the head of Kwara State, you are the head of Kano State, it doesn't matter. We are all working on one vision, all right? So the choice will vary based on all of these parameters, okay? Thank you so much for making my work easier. Now, let's quickly look at organizational departmentalization. Now, the first structure we did is general organizational structure. Some other organizations do their structuring by departments. They structure their work or structure the organization by department, okay? So organizational departmentalization is the process of dividing an organization into distinct units or departments based on specific criteria. This approach helps in organizing tasks, coordinating activities, and managing resources effectively. So another thing we'll also do is that by the end of this one now, we'll look at our organizations or any other sample organization, and then we can tell, is it this kind of departmentalization? If it's an organization running by departmentalization, is it this, is it this, is it that? Now I have the first one, which is the functional departmentalization, just similar to a functional structure. Now, when we dealt with functional structure had to do with a smaller organization. So the roles were represented by maybe just one individual being a manager in that particular category. But in a functional departmentalization, you're looking at a department, a unit in an organization. So that unit will have head, support systems, and then have staff. All right, so it's not just about an individual occupying a role. Functional structure talked more about an individual occupying a particular space in the organizational structure. But the departmentalization talks about a whole department occupying a space in the organizational structure. I guess we understand the difference between the two. All right, now in the description, grouping jobs based on similar functions or services, examples of marketing, finance, human resource, production, IT, is still focusing on specialized jobs, all right? Now, the advantage is the high specialization and efficiency within functions, clear career paths, and development opportunities within the functional area. So if you're in a department, you already know that, okay, after 3 years, I'm going to be this. After 6 years, you already know where you're climbing to. Now, the disadvantage is that can create silos, leading to poor communication and coordination between departments. That between departments, there could be silo effects. Okay? And then there is also a limited view of the organization's overall goal. Everybody will try to focus on their department. Then you have the product departmentalization. Instead of breaking down an organization according to the work they do, we break them down according to the products they produce. You know, the other side, we looked at division. So Joyce said Guinness, they had different divisions, right? They had different divisions. Okay. But in this product departmentalization, each product now forms a division. Each product. So we can have things like medical services, consumer products, baby care, diabetic drugs, nutritional supplement. All of these are independent. Under them, you have the staff responsible for them. Now, under the description, grouping jobs based on products or product lines. Each product line operates as a semi-autonomous division. The advantage here is focus on specific products enhances product development and customer service. And then you have greater flexibility and responsiveness to market changes. On the disadvantages, you have duplication of resources and efforts across product lines. And then you have potential for competition between product divisions. Now, as I was just passing the information across, I remembered one organization I worked. Where the organization is a multinational. Is a multinational. But till I left the organization, I couldn't capture the organizational structure. Even the HR in my own department doesn't know the organizational structure. Their structure was so complex. In the business environment where we had just one region, I call that. Even in the division, they had different divisions. They are into food, real estate, transportation, and logistics. I think they've gone into media now also. They are into agriculture. They produce agricultural, they supply agricultural machineries, produce pet foods like dog foods, fish foods, goat foods, or is it food or feed? Feed rather. Okay. Now, do you know, even in one business unit, like a division that you still had products under the divisions that were on themselves. So then they can rotate you within a business division. So let's take, for instance, under the food, they had restaurants, they had sausage, they had those doing ice cream, those doing food, sales of, even in the restaurants were different. There were different brands of restaurants. You have the African restaurant, English restaurant, so restaurant. In their chicken inn, they had different brands also. And all of those brands had different managers, different staff. Okay. So I spent roughly 1 year there. Roughly 1 year. If you ask me, I can tell you comfortably that the only people I know in that organization till date, the HR through whom I came in, that's the head of the HR from their headquarters, down to my own HR in my own unit, and then the few of us that were in that unit, those are the only people I know in the organization. But this is a multinational organization. And this also calls for an attention. Networking. This is one of the reasons most people still prefer public service. Public service gives you ample opportunities to network across different departments, across different agencies, across different ministries. But in most private sector, all these multinational, they don't have those platforms where people can network. Okay, and this is part of the employee engagement programs and employee relations programs we are talking about. People should be able to know themselves. Okay, and you know, one of the reasons organizations don't really support that, especially those private ones, they feel if the people know themselves that much, they'll begin to form cooperative, they'll begin to form association, and they can now begin to stand against the organization. These are some of their own views towards that. But apart from that, the HR need to have what do you call it? Programs that should harmonize everybody together. All right. By the way, that's called product departmentalization. Then you have the geographical departmentalization. Those that are grouping their jobs based on geographical regions or territories. Example, North America, Europe, Asia, Pacific divisions, like we have in Nigeria, Northeast, Northwest, North Central, Southeast, Southwest, South, and Middle Belt. So an organization can be structured in such a way that their divisions, instead of their divisions being by product, or divisions being by functional department, their division can be on the basis of location. Where are they located? So Southeast, Southwest. Last year, was it last year, December? I was privileged to conduct a we were conducting a training for a bank, and I was privileged to be among the faculty that went there. Now, when I was discussing with the MD of the bank, he said they have the eastern zone, the western zone. So their banks in their structure, they used geographical locations to capture their structure or captured in their structure. All right, so we have organizations that also. The advantage is that it allows for a tailored approach to different regional markets, better local decision making and customer service. Then there is the disadvantage of duplication of functions across regions, coordination and communication challenges between regions. I've been advocating for this. Nigeria, we said that cryptocurrency is one of the reasons why dollar is having a challenge. And I said they should unify trade. Mine is that they should unify trade. Let trades be carried out. The trades we are doing in Nigeria, let it be. In fact, any trade within Nigeria, whether it is online or not, it should be done in our national currency. It should be done within the band. If we want to regulate these fluctuations, this is one of the ways we can do it. And for me, businesses that are targeting geographical regions should not use international fees, although IPM is guilty of it anyway. Because if you're not a Nigerian, you make your payment in dollars. Okay, but for some countries like Ghana, that we have good standing there, we have functional accounts that people there can pay. And if we have our way of going to other countries, we will definitely have to establish our presence there and have their own local currencies and all of that. But there are people that they have the capacity, but they choose not to. I've said it before, this Zoom has the capacity to say, okay, we create pricing based on Nigerian market, but they will never. There was a time I had to challenge them. I was very angry with them. They told me that they've not changed their price. Actually, they've not changed their price. It is we that our currency is fluctuating. They are good people. They are kind people. They don't change their price. There was another service provider, email service provider. I queried those ones. I kept telling them, you people will lose Nigerian market if you don't take time. Nigerians don't have the money to be paying you in dollars, and your service is not as though it's so unique that we can't get it from anywhere. Not long, we began to discover other email providers, and we left them alone. So how can somebody be paying you $50-something in a month? To you is $50-something doesn't really make much to you as a US person. But what's in Nigeria? How much are you making as an SME that you have to pay $50-something thousand to $60-something thousand just to send emails? And then sometimes when you send the email, people don't read it too. Okay? People don't even know how much you spend to send them emails. Okay, they used to think it's free. But that's just by the way. The challenge here is HRs, business developers, marketers, companies should begin, if they want to geographicalize their departmentalization, they should also create systems that localize the currency so that people have better experiences. Customer experience will be better. Okay, this is my own view. And if I have my way, I will go and tell National Assembly. These are the things they should be fighting for. Okay, that's by the way. Customer departmentalization. Okay, so here you group your departments are done by the kind of customers the organizations serve. So grouping jobs based on different customer segments or types, examples, retail customers, corporate clients, government clients. Advantages, focus on specific customer needs and preferences, enhanced customer service and satisfaction. Disadvantages, there is potential duplication of resources, coordination challenges between departments serving different customers. So you can see example there, ladies banking, corporate banking, school banking, real estate and mortgage loans, agricultural banking. So these are specific to These services are specific to specific customers. Then you have the process departmentalization. Some organizations do their departmentalization or create their department based on the processes, okay? Based on the processes they undergo. So you see things like spinning department, weaving department, dyeing department, leaving department, printing department, and all of that. Okay. Now, an example of this can be seen in assembly line stages, order processing stages, and all of that. So most of these logistics companies, if you use their tracking machine, you'll find that each process is almost handled by an independent vendor. Take, for instance, Jumia. If you order on Jumia, Jumia is just an ordering system and the tracking system. The vendor that is going to send you the product is somewhere else. The logistics person that is going to pick it is somewhere else. So they are all somewhat, they could be independent. All of them could be independent. Okay, but for the sake of the service they want to render, they have to all come together to now deliver that service. And everybody now plays their own part in terms of carrying out their own function. Expected. Advantages: improved efficiency and specialization in specific processes, clear accountability for different stages of production or service delivery. And then on the disadvantages, it can lead to tunnel vision with the focus on process rather than the overall product. Integration challenges across different process strategies. Okay, then you have the matrix departmentalization. Just the way we have the matrix structure, you also have the matrix departmentalization. So you have specific phases of a project being managed, and then you have different projects and then different staff across them. For instance, you have the director of product management, you have the different products that is managing, and then you have the interplay between that particular department and the other functional departments with their staff, how they play their own role. So you see product A, you will need the staff from director of engineering, you will need the staff from director of design, you need the staff from director of data science, you need the staff from director of operations. Product B, the same thing, C, the same thing, D, the same thing. Okay. The matrix departmentalization combines two or more types of departmentalization, typically functional and product or project based. The employees report to both a functional manager and a product or project manager. The advantages here include efficient use of resources and expertise, enhanced flexibility and responsiveness to changing project needs. And then you have the disadvantages as complexity in reporting relationships, potential for conflicts and confusion due to dual reporting lines. Note, organizational departmentalization is essential for structuring an organization in a way that supports its strategic goals, operational efficiency, and customer satisfaction. The choice of departmentalization method depends on factors such as the nature of the business, the diversity of products or services, the geographic scope, and the specific needs of customers. By understanding and implementing the appropriate type of departmentalization, organizations can achieve better coordination, improve performance, and greater overall effectiveness. Okay, before I move on to the, before we begin to summarize, any question, any comment? Your organization, in your department, which one do they run the most? For the sake of time, please permit me, I will just continue. I wanted to end my class by 3, so that everybody will go and rest. It's almost 3. So please permit me, let me just round up. What will be the effect of these structures across communication, decision-making, and workflows? What will be the effect of these organizational structures on organizational processes. Now, for the functional structure or the functional departmentalization, on communication, but you have more of vertical communication with clear lines from employees to department heads and up to top management. Horizontal communication between departments can be limited, leading to silos. That will be the effect on communication on a functional structure. Okay. The decisions are often centralized within functional areas. So it's only those at the head that can make the topmost decision. Engagement is less. Functional managers have significant authority with their areas, but may have limited cross-functional decision making. Yeah, they can only make decisions according to the function, according to their own department. They don't take decision for another department. Okay. Then the workflows. Workflows are streamlined within departments, leading to high efficiency in specialized tasks. I think this is one of the most important aspects of the functional areas. There is always specialization. There is always efficiency. Okay, that's one of the good things about it. Cross-departmental workflows can be slow due to need for interdepartmental coordination. But if we have an automation, the system being automated, this might be reduced. But if we were to do everything manually, then there could be slow cross-departmental workflows. On divisional structures, communication, strong internal communication within each division, facilitating rapid decision-making and responsiveness. Potential for communication barriers between different divisions. There is a potential, irrespective of the fact that communication is strong internally, but across departments, across different divisions, there could be potential for a barrier. Decision-making, there is decentralized decision-making. Remember, the functional area, the decision-making is centralized. That means almost the whole power to make decisions lies on the functional manager. However, on the decision-making for the divisional areas, the power is distributed across the divisions. So the divisions can take their decisions, and that makes for decentralization. Strategic decisions are still made at the top level, but operational decisions are made within divisions. Workflows, efficient workflow within each division, tailored to specific products or market. Possible duplication of efforts and resources across divisions could occur. Now, for the matrix structure, the communication there, we have enhanced communication across functions and projects due to dual reporting lines, can be complex, requiring clear communication channels and conflict resolution mechanism. Decision-making, shared decision-making. So on the matrix structure, which is also a kind of project structure, engagement could be higher there, okay? Because more of the people you're going to be using to work, they have one area of specialization or the other. So they have something to add, okay? They have something to bring to the table. It can lead to faster decision-making for project-specific issues, but may cause delays due to the need for consensus. Remember that they are all coming from different departments. Okay, the people making up to do a project in a matrix structure, they are coming from different departments. Workflow, flexible workflows that adapt to project needs, leveraging functional expertise, potential for confusion and inefficiency if roles and responsibilities are not clearly defined. Then the flat structure communication is open and direct across all levels of the organization. Fewer layers mean messages travel quickly, fostering transparency and collaboration. And then we have the decision-making, decentralized decision-making, empowering employees at all levels. However, it can lead to faster decision-making and innovation, but may result in inconsistent decisions. The workflow here, agile and flexible workflows, allowing for quick adjustment and responsiveness. Risk of role ambiguity and lack of oversight in larger organizations could occur. In the hierarchical structure, communication is clear and structured, following the chain of command. Slower communication flow due to multiple layers. The hierarchical structure has multiple layers, so that could cause a challenge. Decision-making, centralized decision-making with authority centralized at the top, can result in slower decision-making and reduced flexibility. Workflow, well-defined workflows with clear roles and responsibilities. However, there is potential for bureaucracy and inefficiency, especially in response to external challenges. They will have the network structure. The communication under the network structure is dynamic and decentralized communication across independent entities. Strong emphasis is on collaboration and information sharing. So somehow you might have to have shared points where people can easily communicate. Okay. Decision-making here is decentralized decision-making, allowing for quick adaptation and innovation. Challenges in maintaining consistency and alignment across the network. The workflow here is flexible and adaptable, leveraging external partnerships. There could be complexity in coordination and integration of activities across the network. Note, the choice of organizational structure significantly imparts communication, decision-making, and workflow within an organization. Each structure offers distinct advantages and challenges, influencing how information flows, how decisions are made, and how work is organized and executed. Understanding these effects help organizations choose or adapt their structures to better align with their strategic needs and external environment. Now, the first time you were able to identify the kind of structure that works in your organization. But now by knowing the effect, it will help you further to know which ones surely will have to suit your organization or any other organization that you are either consulting for or partnering with. Organizational relationships. Organizational relationships refer to the interactions and coordinations between various roles, departments, and individuals within an organization. These relationships are critical for efficient operation, collaboration, and achieving organizational goals. Understanding and managing these relationships can significantly impact the overall performance and culture of the organization. Now we have what we call the line relationship, and we have what we call the staff relationship. In other texts, they will tell you they are functional relationship, lateral relationship, team relationship, and every other thing. But we just discussed two: line relationship and staff relationship. The line relationship, a direct vertical relationship between supervisors and subordinates. In a simple way of saying it, the relationship between the manager and the employees under him or her, we call it line relationship. The characteristics here is that authority flows from top management to the lowest level, clear chain of command and accountability, direct control and supervision. Example, a production manager overseeing assembly line workers is example of line relationship. Then you have the staff relationship. Advisory relationship where staff positions provide support, advice, and expertise to line managers. So here, in simple terms, you could call it professional relationship among managers. Professional relationship among managers. So this is more like a matrix structure where you have a manager, a functional manager doing what he needs to do. Then you have somewhat a professional who is to provide the functional manager with advice, support, and expertise. The staff manager does not have authority over the line manager. They are all considered as managers. Okay, just like when you go to a bank, you see the branch manager, but who is actually the major manager there? So you can consider him as the line manager. But you still see other managers. You see operational manager or operations manager, internal control and audit manager. There's also another manager they used to have. Then some banks, they have secretary. Now, because the branch manager is the branch, he will not say because he's the branch manager, he will now lord over others. No. The bank recognizes every other manager as a manager. However, Their work to the general manager is now to support and provide advice. But the one steering the wheel is the general manager, but the support is coming from the other managers, right? Characteristics: staff personnel do not have direct authority over line employees. Okay, say that before. Provide specialized knowledge and services, and there is influence decision making through recommendations. Example: a HR manager advising a department head on personnel issues. That's the example. Functional relationships: a relationship where individuals or departments have specialized authority over certain activities, even if they don't have direct control over those performing the task. Characteristics of functional relationships: they have authority based on expertise in a specific area, can cut across various departments or functions. Responsibility for ensuring compliance with organizational policies. Example: a safety officer ensuring all departments comply with safety regulations. A safety officer, that's a functional relationship. Now, quickly, let's look at delegation. Delegation is a serious matter. It is a process of assigning authority and responsibility to someone else to carry out specific tasks or decisions. If delegation is done well, it moves the organization forward. If delegation is not done well, it can put the organization into trouble. It is a fundamental aspect of effective leadership and organizational management. Purpose of delegation: to promote efficiency, promote development, empower the employees. Now, the principles of delegation: there must be clarity of the tasks to be done, clarity of who is giving what. There must be authority. The person that is delegating must have the necessary authority to delegate to whoever he or she so wishes to. So there must be power and authority resident to the person who wants to transfer it. Capability: the person receiving the delegated authority must be capable of managing the authority that will be delegated to him. The results: the focus is on the outcomes. Remember what said that one of the purpose is what is efficiency. So we need outcomes. It could be efficiency, it could be development. So the purpose must be defined. When the purpose is defined, then we'll know what the result is expected. And monitoring: provide feedback and support. You, as the one having the power to delegate, having the actual power to delegate, make sure you provide support and feedback to the person you've delegated to. Then show respect, show trust and respect. Okay. Understanding: ensure mutual understanding between the person delegating, the delegate, and the person delegating. Then have feedback, establish a feedback loop. Okay, so steps in delegation: assigning responsibility, clearly define the task or decision to be delegated, including objectives, deadlines, and expected outcomes. Number 2, granting authority: delegate the necessary authority to complete the task, including decision-making authority and access to resources. Maintaining accountability: hold the delegate accountable for the results of the delegated task. Providing feedback and support as when needed. Types of delegation were the task delegation, authority delegation, and full delegation. The task delegation: assigning specific tasks or activities to others. Authority delegation: granting decision-making authority to others within a specific scope. Full delegation: assigning full responsibility for a project or function to someone else. Okay, am I repeating this? Okay, this purpose of delegation. Benefits of delegation: time management: it allows managers to focus on strategic priorities. Then employee development and team empowerment. Challenges of delegation: control: managers may struggle to relinquish control over tasks and decisions. This is a major one. Communication: clear communication is essential to ensure that delegated tasks are understood and executed. If you go back to our HR information system, you can actually use that to, like on your dashboard, you could identify tasks that have been delegated from who to who. So what we're saying now is not just like want to add more information to what we're doing. No, you can actually use your dashboard to establish delegation within the organization. This department head is delegating to so person, and these are the responsibilities. Blah, 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 blah. That's part of communication, right? That's good. And accountability, ensuring that delegates are held accountable for their delegated tasks and this can be challenging. Note, delegation is a valuable tool for managers to improve efficiency, develop employees, and empower teams. By delegating effectively, managers can leverage the skills and capabilities of their team members to achieve organizational goals. As we round up, let's look at functional authority. Functional authority exists. Is the authority delegated to an individual or a department over a specific function or activities within an organization. Is more of giving a department or someone from a department an authority over certain roles and responsibilities in another department. So it's cross-functional, cross-departmental rather. Okay, cross-departmental. So I could be in the personnel department, but I am given the role to supervise those in the production department. That's cross-functional or cross-departmental. Unlike line authority, which is associated with the formal chain of command, functional authority is based on expertise and is often temporary or project-based. Nature of functional authority, it is expertise-based, it is limited in scope. You don't take up the entire department where they are sending you to. There is a specific assignment they're giving you. Just go there, do it, and come back. The roles and responsibilities for those on functional authority or functional delegation, you have them on advisory role and you have them on coordination role. Advisory role, they advise line managers. On coordination, they are responsible for coordinating activities related to that particular area of expertise across different departments. Examples of functional authority, you have the HR specialist, may have functional authority over hiring and recruitment process, providing guidance to managers in different departments. The IT department may also have functional authority over technology-related decisions and systems. So they can help every other part of the organization, every other department to get through with IT. Advantages, there is specialized expertise and it promotes efficiency. The challenges of functional authority, coordination. Functional authority can lead to coordination challenges if not properly integrated with the overall organizational structure and goals. So people can have resistance issues, challenges of change, resistance to change, and resistance to even the people bringing the change. Okay. Conflict. It may result in conflict with line managers who may feel their authority is being undermined by the functional experts. Note, functional authority is a valuable tool for organizations to leverage specialized expertise and improve efficiency in specific functions or activities. However, it is important to carefully manage and integrate functional authority within the broader organizational structure to ensure alignment with overall goals and minimize potential conflict. I think I will round up with this. What's my time? Okay. So give me just a few minutes. Let me round up. Designing effective organizational process. Organizations are made up of processes. Departments are made up of processes. Tasks are made up of processes. So how do we design effective processes? Designing effective organizational process is essential for enhancing efficiency, productivity, and overall performance. Organizational processes refer to the series of structured activities or tasks that produce a specific service or product for customers or to achieve an organizational goal. These processes ensure that the organization operates efficiently and effectively. Now, understanding the key processes. When you are developing a process, you have to understand the key processes, the key assignment, the key operations, the major tasks within your organization. Okay, you need to find out the ones that are across the functions: production, marketing and sales, personnel, and finance. You need to understand those core functions and then work on them. The workflow design, how to map out the workflow of each process from start to finish to understand how tasks are performed and how information flows within the organization. And you can do this through mapping. So you could have a physical visualization of that. Then you have the process optimization, analyzing each process to identify bottlenecks, redundancies, and inefficiencies. Look for opportunities to streamline workflows and eliminate waste. Resource allocation, it is the process of determining how resources such as time, money, and manpower are distributed and utilized within an organization. This process involves prioritizing projects, balancing workflows, or perhaps balancing workloads, and allocating resources based on strategic priorities. The key components of organizational process: we must have inputs, there must be activities, there must be outputs, and there must be feedback. So this is like a transformation circle, okay? A transformation circle. A transformation circle of processes. We have inputs, we have activities for the processing unit, and they have outputs and then feedback. We have different types of organizational processes. You have the operational processes, which are the core processes that are responsible for production. Okay, they are responsible for the transformation processes within the organization. Example is the assembly line in a car manufacturing company. Then you have the support services, like your customer service, payroll management, finance, and all of that. They are support services, and they support the core operational services. Then you have the management processes that oversee, monitor, and guide the operational support processes. This includes strategic planning, decision-making, and performance management. Example is an annual strategic planning meeting. Now, steps in organizational process management. You have identification. Recognizing and identifying the process to be managed or improved. Then design, developing the process workflows, including the sequence of activities and the roles involved. You have the modeling, simulating the process to understand its behavior and identify potential issues. Execution, implementing the process according to the designed workflow. Monitoring here emphasizes on tracking the performance of the process to ensure it meets desired outcomes. In the optimization here talks of continuously improving the process based on feedback and performance data. The importance of organizational processes: to drive efficiency, maintain consistency, ensure accountability, promote scalability, ensure customer satisfaction, and ensures compliance. That's a summary of what the organizational processes are meant to do. Some examples of organizational processes of the supply chain processes like procurement, production, inventory management, and logistics. Product development like research and development, design, testing, and marketing, and several others. Customer service management, you have sales. Examples of activities there: sales, marketing, customer service, and support. They have the human resource, like recruitment, training, performance evaluation, and payroll. Financial management, you have budgeting, banking, and financial reporting. Challenges in managing organizational processes. There could be the challenge of complexity, which makes it harder to manage processes. There could be challenge of resistance to change, which makes it almost impossible to have the change established in organization. Then there is also a challenge of coordination. Okay, the challenge of coordination might make it difficult where staff are not interested in working together on that particular project. They have resource allocation, making sure that we have the right cost to the right project. Okay. Then you have technological integrations. Integrating new technologies with the existing processes can also be difficult. Processes for effective process, strategies for effective process management. These are more like us revising what we've done. So you have the process mapping. Process mapping is you try to create a visual of what your process flow will look like. They have the continuous improvement, which can be done through the Six Sigma, Lean, or total quality management processes. Mentioned over and over again. So it's part of the strategies we need for effective process management. Then we need employee training and performance metrics to make sure that we are achieving results. Okay. Okay, mapping and analyzing processes. You have your process mapping. Tools you can use here, you have your root cause analysis, and you can also do your benchmarking. Your root cause analysis here will help you to find out what is actually the most important thing that needs to be dealt with in a process. And then benchmarking. Is being generated as information. The redesigning processes. Before you redesign, make sure there is a set objective that carries a clear goal of what is expected. Then brainstorm solutions, implement changes, monitor and evaluate. Techniques for redesigning process, you can use the Lean principles, where we talk about the principle of eliminating waste, optimizing flow, and continuous improvement to streamline processes. We can also use Six Sigma, which is bent on eliminating defects in processes, improving quality, and reducing variability. We can also use technology integration, where we have automation, workflows to streamline the processes and improve efficiency. And we'll also have change management, okay, tools that we can use to do that. Fostering innovation. How do we foster innovation? Through organizational design. We can foster innovation through having the right culture while designing the work, having the right structure, having the right processes. We can also foster innovation and adaptability through creating the right principles, creating the right structures, and creating the right practices under an agile organizational design. Then under the leadership, we should be able to create the right visions, become visionary leaders, create empowerment for staff, provide recognition when due to relevant staff, and then also role modeling, being a good example for the staff. Then managing change in organizational design. While you are doing organizational design, change is inevitable. How do you manage change? Let there be an establishment of purpose. Let there be clear channels of communication. Let there be leadership support. Let there be leadership support, all right? Stakeholder involvement, flexibility, training and development, evaluation, regularly evaluate the effectiveness of the changes, and then make sure there is continuous improvement programs in place to make sure that the organizational design is working the way it's meant to be. There's something that Mrs. Favor said. She said they have a working organizational structure. However, when they create new departments, they go and update. That is part of change management. In conclusion, oh my God, I'm so happy. Managing change in organizational design is essential for organizations to remain competitive and adaptable in today's dynamic business environment. By following the principles of purposeful change, effective communication, and strong leadership support, organizations can successfully navigate change and achieve their goals. Engaging stakeholders maintaining flexibility, and investing in training and development are key components of successful change management. Continuous evaluation and improvement ensure that organizational design changes are sustainable and contribute to a long-term success. Oh, my. Thank you so much for having been on this journey with me since yesterday. So thank you. Any question, any comment, any contribution? Questions, comment, contribution? Questions, comment, contribution?
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for the
You're
time. And I must attest to the fact that your mode of delivery was outstanding.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you, sir. For me, I don't actually have questions. But I really would love to lay my hands on the materials as soon as possible.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, you
That's
get
the
it.
only thing I have to say.
Yeah. All the materials, why the materials have not been sent is that we actually reworked the whole material to suit current realities. So everybody will get the materials for this week. You will get them before your next class. So between now and Tuesday, you will get all of the materials. And then the next material for next week, you also have every material, you have access to them, all. Both the ones that we've already developed and the textbooks that will be provided alongside with them, you have all.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
You're most
Thank you, Mr. Banito. Thank you so much. I can literally feel your pulse.
Oh.
Try to race against time. That was an awesome presentation.
Thank you so much.
So, like what Mr. I think is Emmanuel just requested